Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the 4th episode of the Behind the Counter presented by Insane Games on this Monday, January 29th edition of our podcast. 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. We got the kid broadcasting from the Insane Games in the Countryside Mall, Clearwater, Florida. Give us a holler.
I saw it.
And we got the gamer, we got the nerd, we got the boss, and well. Guest hosting today, the staple of the store, the mastermind.
It's long overdue.
The troublemaker.
The weasel.
The ball brother.
The shoveling himself. Tom, broadcasting from the Northway Plaza Insane Games in Queensbury, New York.
Nobody has last names on this show.
We're also broadcasting live on Facebook.
For now.
Are we ready?
I am.
Voter, hit it up.
This is episode 4, Behind the Counter, presented by Insane Games. Give me a hell yeah!
Hell no! You got a Nintendo Switch for the people?
What'd you say, son?
Now, do you want to give us a little explanation as to what we saw there? That was quite the stunt/move/drinking party.
Well, I learned from my greatest predecessor, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I did a lot of research that day. I must have watched at least 30 minutes of Stone Cold's greatest compilations of Stone Cold Stunners. I made sure that Dalton watched how to receive one. I had to have Dalton bring in a football girdle so I didn't break my tailbone on the cement floor that we have here. So we had a lot of fun. But I'm just saying, if anybody wants to get actual Stone Cold Stunnered, I also am certified in stunning people for real. So.
I'm not sure who sold it more, you doing the move or Dalton taking the move, because Dalton went down pretty hard on the cement floor as well.
The technique was good. I like the technique. No jean
the
shorts,
technique.
very questionable.
Yeah.
Very questionable.
I don't know.
They're unbuttoned. They're khakis. I don't know what's going on with those. You're sweating. Your hair's slicked back. The stunner was impressive. Was very impressive.
The girdle was way too big in width around my waist, so I had to leave it unbuttoned, or else I might have popped the button off of my shorts. And I like those shorts. They're Nike. They're pretty expensive, so I didn't want to have to send them up to my grandma to sew them back on. But I mean, the Stone Cold Stunner itself, we practiced it about 10 times before I told them, all right, let's do this. But it was tough because I didn't want to break my tailbone on the cement floor or anything else. But
Now, did you attempt the one gun salute there? Because I noticed you did the stunner and then you started to walk away and then you turned around, face your back entirely to to the camera.
Awfully suspicious, like you made a gesture to Dalton after doing that.
I did notice that.
I made a specific gesture to Dalton in ode to Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's just my back was turned to the camera, so you know, if there's any kids under the age of 16 watching at home, they don't see what was done. I was gonna get in his face, but I needed to pound those Red Bulls before they got warm.
Now,
I was ready for those.
Another 2 questions as a non-management person. Does that go to HR? He stunned an employee. How am I to prevent myself
I
as
need
the
some
only...
more background to hear all sides of the story before.
Did he
you-
deserve
All right.
So he was all ready for it. If you look in the video, it shows Dalton going, "Come on, give me the stunner." And, he got it.
Secondly, if I come in this store and I start dumping monsters everywhere, I'm going to immediately get, "And where's your wallet, Dave?" It's going to get whipping out dollars. My paycheck's going to get docked. What's going on with that?
You didn't pay for those Red
I
Bulls.
only paid for the Red Bulls, and I made sure that I cleaned Off the floor. It's a little sticky today. Had
It
to,
better be
give
clean.
It
It better be clean.
Secondary wipe, so it's a little. I even got some dirt off. You might as well call me Snow White. But the floor is nice and shiny now after dripping Red Bull all over it.
Did you get an 8-ounce or a 12-ounce?
And I had to take a shower after because I got so much Red Bull in my ears. I had to hop on one foot to get it out. But it was a lot of fun. It was
creative.
So
I'll give it credit. It was creative. I think it was sold pretty well.
Dalton sold it well, but I still think that either Razor Ramon or The Rock sell the stunner the best.
The Rock is
a
pretty good.
full
The Rock goes flying.
backflip.
Flips afterwards.
I showed Dalton both of those clips too, and I said, I want you to do the Rock, but since it's cement floor, I don't want you to kill yourself. So I said, why don't you do it like Razor Ramon a little bit, so he didn't go all the way down to his knees and kill his knees on the cement floor, so he went down and then up and back. Trust me, there was a lot of research that went into this stunner. We made sure that it was as good as I could possibly do it without a springy mat underneath my ass. Because we were both saying, Dalton was very worried. He thought I was going to take his head, put it on my shoulder, and crack his jaw. And he's like, I just hope you don't break my jaw. And I'm like, trust me, Dalton, I won't.
That would have been a problem.
That goes to
But
HR.
as long as Dalton was happy, he was like, yeah, we should do some more of these stunts some other time. I'm like, oh, we're gonna.
Well, I thought it went well. I thought it was well played, well maneuvered. Was it an 8-ounce or 12-ounce?
8-ounce.
No bald cap,
2
though?
8-ounce. No, I didn't end up getting it.
Wow.
What a shame.
Were they sold out
What a
or
shame
just
indeed.
complete
I
backstab?
didn't check Target, but I almost felt like there was no reason to check for a ball cap. And even if they had it, I would have to ask the associate, hey, do you have a ball cap?
Why would you want to be bald? Boder, did we get a fix this week or no?
Sorry?
Is the ball counter fixed?
Yeah, I think as long as you're careful, I think we're good with it.
I don't know. We may go
What's
crazy
the back
today.
thing saying?
As long as it's back in commission, that's all that matters.
All right,
be
good.
careful,
I'm
dude.
happy.
All right, so before we move on, we got a little NFL Super Bowl talk. We got to talk about the news of the XFL coming out this week.
The what?
The XFL, second time, the 2.0 of the XFL.
I don't know what the XFL is. I've never heard of that. Was it some sort of failed business venture by a billionaire?
We got to talk. We'll talk a little bit of the Royal Rumble. Any updates on that? We'll talk, of course, the video games, and of course, we'll mock the crap out of each other through the entire episode today. So, I know he's dying to talk a little bit about them. So we'll get right into NFL and the Philadelphia Eagles
The Birds
making it
going
to the
to
Super
the
Bowl.
bowl.
St. Nick coming down the chimney this year.
Mike was the only one with St. Nick. All you guys were backstabbers to St. Nick. He never did anything wrong to you. You guys all picked the Vikings. That is absurd. Absurd. I'm looking at you
Christmas
mainly.
came late, just like me.
As someone from Pennsylvania, it's absurd you didn't root for the Birds.
Oh my God.
And now you're paying the
He
price
is a
for
true
it.
Pennsylvanian guy right here.
I didn't know that.
Somewhat. I'd rather go with the Steelers, though, than those washed-up Philly fans.
Wow.
Philly does cause a lot of problems.
I've been seeing a lot of headlines about Philly fans causing a ruckus around the city. I'm liking what I'm reading. Harassing Viking fans, Viking players, their families. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
I don't know.
Say, wow.
Well, I mean, so we have the Philadelphia troublemaker fans, and then we have the
And then we
boring.
got the New England cheaters.
You could say that, but then we have the repeat of New England back in the Super Bowl again. So, are we getting bored with New England? Is that starting to get a little boring that they're in the playoffs and the Super Bowl every single year? I mean, is that a big? I mean, Philadelphia fans causing a little bit of. I think what would be a lame game, maybe against anybody else, does add a little bit of excitement with the Philadelphia fans. I will say that. I
like seeing the Patriots in there again. I mean, they're getting a chance to go with their 6th Super Bowl, or Tom Brady's 6th. If he gets this, he's pretty much going to be untouchable as far as greatest quarterback goes.
If he wins,
He
better
pretty
than
much
Joe
already
Montana?
is. Yeah, I think so.
I think it cements Bill Belichick as being the greatest coach of all time, not necessarily.
I
He's
agree
out.
with Tom
He's
on that
leaving.
one.
What?
I
He's
think
leaving.
without Bill Belichick, there's no Tom Brady.
No Tom Brady.
I agree.
He was a scrub from Michigan, and Bill Belichick brought him to greatness.
I think Tom Brady, I think he's overrated in the sense that not of what he's accomplished. I think he's overrated in that he's done it by himself. I think it's way overrated
said
in that
that,
argument. No, I mean I'm not gonna say he's overrated because he has championship, but I think it's overrated the amount of people that think that he did it by himself. He did it with Bill Belichick.
Right.
I mean, he did it. I mean, there's no Tom Brady without Bill Belichick, and I wouldn't go
I
as
would
far
say
as saying
this
there's no
was
Bill
cement.
Belichick without Tom Brady. But
Right, I would say this would cement Bill Belichick as the greatest coach of all time.
If they still had Jimmy G,
I would say,
they'd be doing just fine
Even
with
if-
him.
yeah, I agree.
right, even if Bill Belichick loses, I would say he's still the greatest coach of all time because of the amount of times he's been to the Super Bowl. I mean, that itself is a hard task, especially in the AFC when you're going up against Peyton Manning, Big Ben. You're going up against all these quarterbacks that are going to be future Hall of Famers. And, you know, he's beaten them time and time again, and he's been to the past, 10 Super Bowls for the AFC? It's kind of absurd, but, I mean, you gotta respect greatness, but I do not respect the Patriots fans, and I do not respect some of the antics that I've heard behind the scenes from the Patriots.
And, you know, one thing to add to Bill Belichick is how many times has they rotated wide receivers and running backs out of that team? I mean, look at all the players over the years. It's not like they had a staple wide receiver over the years that have been their main target or running back. I mean, they rotate a lot of players. I mean, they make them good. They rotate them out. They get good draft picks. They trade them.
What about their coaches?
I mean,
They've rotated out their offensive and defensive coordinators, too.
They'll lose
they
two of
had
them this year.
Romeo Crennel. They had Charlie White. They had Matt Patricia. All those guys have gone on to be head coaches somewhere else. I mean, it's just like a coaching factory at the New England facility.
And yet they come back every year and they're in the. They have what?
Same with the Birds. Same with the Birds. John
Right.
Harbaugh, Andy Reid, Doug Peterson. Anything else? I'm thinking current, not just. I mean, I think that's it.
Well,
for
Jim
current.
Schwartz isn't he going to be a
Jim
head
Schwartz will
coach
probably
after
get
this
hired.
season?
The quarterback coach, I'm forgetting his name, will probably get hired this season or next season. Dripping wet. Carson Wentz's boy. Built St. Nick into what he is today. Dripping wet.
See, I would say the Eagles are very lucky that they have Nick
Lucky?
Foles at quarterback.
What do you mean they drafted him all those years ago? They brought him back,
Well, I'm saying,
and he's dirty.
All right, so say they had name any other backup in the league. Say they had that backup on their team now in the playoffs, deep in the playoffs.
Dan did it.
You
Dan
son of
turned
a...
off the X.
It was only
5 episodes, and he finally turned off Tyler, which is why I'm going to promptly hold up this sign I was working on.
It was only a matter
We're
of time before it
friends.
happened. It was only a matter of time.
So we're gonna have to be
So,
back
That
and
was
be like,
fantastic.
Ladies and gentlemen on
Technical
Facebook
difficulties
Live,
for a minute, people.
it is Skype, Jen. Thank you for noticing that we're using such high-quality free programming.
What the hell happened there?
That may or may not have been my mistake.
May or may not have been Dan. Tired of you talking.
For the first time in 4
Bald
episodes,
man.
I hit the power button by
Oh,
mistake.
man.
That's what you get when Xbox makes
You're
it
an
touch
idiot.
sensitive. Alright, so what were we talking about?
I was saying how the Eagles are very
Yeah, what were
lucky.
you spewing before about the Eagles are lucky they have St. Nick, or St. Nick's lucky he's got the Birds? What were you saying?
So name any backup quarterback in the
TJ
NFL. He wouldn't lead the Eagles to a Super Bowl.
Christian
I
Hackenberg.
think they
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Bryce Petty.
wouldn't. Keep naming them. Nope.
Yeah, none of them would. St. Nick is nice,
Okay,
but
that's-
dirty.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. If you let me talk, I would be able to explain what I'm saying. So if the Eagles had a different backup quarterback, they would not be fit in this position. But because they have a bona fide, almost starting quarterback in the NFL, that has now led them to an opportunity at the Super Bowl without their future
Don't be
stars.
singing Saint Nick's praise now.
So
Everyone
what's your
slept
point here?
on
That
Saint
the
Nick
Eagles are
before.
lucky for having Saint Nick? They signed him.
I think
They drafted
what
him in
I'm-
2013.
My point. No. My point. NFL teams should take a page out of what the Eagles are doing and get a bona fide, somewhat starter that would
I agree.
start on another team to have as their backup, just in case something like this has happened. Now you see the NFL, all the injuries are at an all-time high. So now the Eagles now have a backup quarterback that could start for, I don't know, the Browns, the Jets. I mean, you name it. And now they have the opportunity of competing in the Super Bowl to win. Now, if you said, now say Nick Foles was the quarterback of the Texans, would they be in the playoffs now because Deshaun Watson got hurt? Probably. I'm just saying the Eagles
I
now
agree.
have the
I've always said
opportunity
backup
because they
quarterback is one of the most overlooked positions, and it's probably one of the most
yeah,
important
exactly.
for being a backup position.
Which brings us to our actual topic. Ryan Fitzpatrick, starting quarterback of the New York Jets next year, is going to bring home a title to New Jersey.
Fitzmagic.
All in all, I think the Eagles' defense is the main factor that breaks it down, but I think Nick Foles is playing a key part.
Jay Ajayi?
That's all I have
What
to
about
say.
Jay Ajayi? In that
Well, I'm
running
saying,
attack?
I'm saying quarterback position.
I would say
I mean,
Foles is fulfilling more than what they wanted out of him.
Everybody
So
slept
at this
on
point,
him.
I feel like they're not winning just because of
The
their defensive
underdogs.
plays. They're
The
winning because he's
underdogs.
throwing touchdowns.
Dave, what do you think about the Eagles situation? How do you feel about them?
Me?
Yeah, Dave.
No, the other Dave.
I am furious that we are not watching the Vikings wander into their own stadium with the words Super Bowl emblazoned on the things, just to look over at Roger Goodell and the NFL board and go, well, looks like somebody picked a dud this year to host the Super Bowl.
I'm sad we won't be able to hear the skull chant. That was my favorite.
I think this sign, which will be not very good on the hard cam, but very good here on the close-up cam. New England loves insane games. Or if the
Like
Eagles
the
win,
impact.
we will redact that
That's me.
statement, and I will say Philly loves insane games because I will pick the winner one way or another.
I mean, I don't know.
sides.
I'm looking forward to a little quarterback situation off season. If they do win the Super Bowl, you cannot tell me Nick Foles
The Birds are going
doesn't
to
deserve a
The
chance
Birds are
to
going to
be.
win back-to-back titles with two different quarterbacks. You got Foles this year, Wentz next year. MVP season next year for Wentz.
I thought you were a Jets fan, Tom.
I am a Jets fan. I just live in Philadelphia.
Partly live in
You're a Jets
Philadelphia.
fan when Jets are good.
I'm always a Jets
No,
fan.
he-
I'm always a Jets fan.
He takes the brunt, just like I do for Bills fandom. He takes the brunt for the Jets when they have their
he
butt
did
fumbles.
for many,
and
many
No,
years.
everyone
Dave.
asks me, who's your favorite football team? I say the Jets, and I take it on the
For
chin.
many years he took it, but
Nice take it
now
on
I
the
think
chin.
secretly he's moved on and chose the Philadelphia Eagles.
Nope, Jets fan. Jets fan.
Can't blame
That's
him.
like me saying I'm a
Can't blame
Buccaneers fan because I live in Tampa.
You are a
Now.
Buccaneers
What?
fan. They just had a season, so you don't talk about them.
I'm not a Bucs fan at all.
You're not a Bucks fan.
Now, yeah, if they were 11-5, you'd be singing their praises.
That is true.
I would definitely not.
He should be
Even
MVP.
though I'm.
He's shown some love before.
And I met Doug Martin. I'm still not a Bucs fan.
Look
They
at
can
you,
rot in
look at
full
Smithy,
hell.
kid.
For what they did to the Raiders back in the Super Bowl, they can rot.
Agreed.
But whose praises were you singing that is a Florida-based team earlier this season?
The Jaguars.
Yeah.
Baby.
The Florida-based
Blake
Jacksonville.
Bortles.
I think Tom Coughlin's done a lot to turn it around. I think however you look at it, this season was
Face
a
is
winning
beat
season.
red from that.
I look forward to seeing the video of Blake Bortles walking down the hallway like, well, I made it us to the playoffs, and him going
Dave,
to
their
the
whole body's red right now.
It is. I'm so mad that man. But get this. That man is going to turn in that stinker of a season, and he's going to walk in with all his little papers and all his little statistics and make more money than I'm going to make in my life in one season. Because it's kind contract. And he's going to go, well, I took us to the playoffs. Ah!
Someone's
You're
gonna
gonna
Eat
start
it,
doing
ball
that.
man.
someone's gotta throw the salt.
I'm salty. I am very salty about that. I want to go on national television and just lay an egg and then walk into someone's boardroom the next day and be like, I want $7 million for this.
He did great egg, Dave. He had more passing yards than Tom Brady.
Uh-huh. That's because Tom Brady doesn't necessarily always need to pass, but...
So moving on from
get my
Dave's
count.
rant.
Blake
All
Bortles
right.
played an almost perfect game against the Patriots.
Jeez, Dave, that was kind of out there.
He is
Whoa.
bald.
A lot of
He is
saltiness
bald,
over
though.
there.
Blake Bortles.
Hugely salty. Hugely.
Don't be coming at my quarterback, Dave. That's all I have to say.
Going right back to, oh yeah, he is definitely not a Jacksonville fan.
So
Definitely
we,
a Jacksonville fan, and Blake Bortles
I'm a
is
Jacksonville
definitely
fan.
bald.
Blake Bortles would
Definitely
be my
bald.
fantasy
Bald,
football
bald.
championship. The only bald people on the screen is the two on the right.
Oh God! Luscious locks.
It's beating down. It's coming. Judgment
Look
Day
at your head. Half your head is shaved. Why is half your head shaved? Why do you have hair on the top on one side of your head, and then the other side is completely shaved? Very strange haircut you got going on.
If you look at your father, and then you look at him,
Whoa!
you see
people's
the
fathers
what's
into
gonna happen.
All right. So I
You're gonna
think...
have to wear those hats every day because of how bald you're gonna be.
Whoa!
so
Stupid haircut.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury at Facebook Live,
Wow.
the discussion we were going to bring up was the fact that Tyler, Dan, and myself all had the Vikings going to the Super Bowl this season.
I had the Vikings too.
That's what I said. And yet, there's only one man sitting amongst us, aside from you, sir, who publicly voted on this and said that St. Nick would deliver not once, not twice, but 3 times in one unprecedented Christmas year for Philly and their fans. And that was, and I would like to acknowledge, because again, we got very salty there, myself included.
very salty, Dave.
Just, these people get paid millions of dollars.
Dave,
and they
Dave,
just,
go ahead, Dave,
all right. Another discussion for another day. Mike, congratulations on
Thank you,
picking
Dave.
the Cacas to go all the way to the Super Bowl.
Are you
I
flip
didn't-
flopping now? Are you going with the Patriots?
Classic flip
Well,
flop.
Classic flip flopper.
It would be a
He
great
loves Tom
backstab,
Brady.
a
He
great
loves Tom Brady.
nice
who do you
double
got?
agent.
Who do you got? Who does Mike love in the Super Bagel of sorts?
I think I am gonna go with the Patriots.
Scumbag.
Greatest
You
quarterback
scum.
of all time, greatest coach of all time, greatest franchise of all time, other than the Raiders.
You scum. Great franchise of all time.
Obviously,
Never
Tom.
cheated, completely innocent.
Mike's running like it's the ice cream truck.
Obviously, Tom, you're gonna be rooting for the Eagles,
The EAGLES Eagles.
and you expect them to win. Rooting for them is one thing, but are you predicting that they win?
Yes. And I borderline want to say it's going to be a slaughter too.
Whoa.
Oh.
I'm going the other way and saying it's going to be a New England win, and it's going to be a slaughter against Eagles. It's going to be like 37 to like 7. It's going to be awful.
Wow.
Awful.
Wow.
Saint Nick
Dave,
might
what
not
do you
be.
got?
My pick, as in every year when teams that win a lot of games are in the Super Bowl, is the other team. Because there's nothing I would like to walk into work on Monday than look at all of the Patriots fans, all of the children walking around with Patriots caps, and go, well, you may pooped on the Bills, and when it mattered the most, who looked like an idiot? It's still me, but the Patriots will lose to the Philadelphia Falcons? Eagles, the Eagles, yeah.
The Birds.
The Birds! And it will not be a repeat of last year's Birds game where the Birds got on the field and went, caca, and pooped on Bill Belichick's hoodie. And then second time they came out and Bill Belichick was like, no more. And the game was over.
Tyler, what do you got?
All right, so when I make my announcement, let me speak. So don't bum rush me.
Here we go.
I'm going with
Oh
the
my
Patriots.
God.
Now listen. I have gone very bad. I don't even remember what my stats are picking during the playoffs. It's just horrendous. It's kind of like Dan in fantasy football. But I'm going with the Patriots because in my heart, I really want the Eagles.
We really need to keep bringing that up.
If I pick the Patriots will now lose and the Eagles will win. So it's a win-win for all of us.
Until they win, and it kind of foils the whole operation.
And then I actually get a pick right. But I mean, I'm hoping that because I can't pick NFL playoffs, I'm hoping that the Patriots actually lose. So go Patriots.
Facebook Live, who do you have? We've got one vote from friend of the store and friend of mine, Luke. He's got some love for the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. He's also acknowledging the fact that he stepped into a very salty room. Any other votes there on Facebook Live?
One thing I would like to go over,
Yeah.
I think something that we can go over later, is I would love to go back and see all the claims made throughout our first couple episodes about the NFL and see who's really right and wrong. Because all the
I'm
discredit
probably wrong
I
here.
get, okay, I believe in the first episode I made a lot of claims that were actually accurate and came true.
Didn't you say John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh was going to be the Bears head
Yeah,
coach?
we're gonna forget about
and
that.
literally the next day, they hired someone who was not Jim Harbaugh and was not even close to
Not
Jim
every
Harbaugh.
wild accusation comes true,
That was a
Tom.
wild-
Okay? And,
wild
every once in a while,
claim.
you got to go out there and you got to hope for the best, and that didn't come
absurd
out.
It's also
claim.
said that the Super Bowl winner would be coming out of the Steelers and the Jaguars game.
Way off.
Very bald.
I don't know how. I don't get how Mike can just say the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl and then last minute, Mike's coming around the corner and say, nope, Patriots are going to win it.
Classic backstabber. What can I say?
Actually, just to be the gigantic nerd, if we remember a couple weeks ago, Mike flat out said the Patriots were going to win it, but the Eagles were going to get there.
No, he said he was going with the Eagles.
I don't remember, but we'll say I went with the
course you
Patriots because
don't.
that's where I am now. So
So we've got some of our
Oh,
friends,
man.
some of our friends on
Riz man.
Facebook Live. As much as Dakota hates to admit it, he's got to say it'll probably be the Pats. And we've got a vote from Carly, Eagles, just because I don't like the Patriots. Which
Agreed. Screw the Pats.
whoa,
you voted for him.
you voted for
Yeah,
you voted
he
for
was
them.
the winner.
You rooted for Tommy touchdowns.
There was a time I was a huge Tommy touchdown fan until he decided to knee the ball and makes me lose to Dan in the fantasy football playoffs. So,
That by far was one of the best moments that I didn't see, but was felt. Watching those fantasy scores absolutely stop just a couple
I
points
threw
short
my
of a
phone on
win.
the table and I said, "Good night, Dan. I am going to bed." It was about 9 o'clock, and I cried myself to sleep.
It was one of the greatest moments in fantasy football when that
Tom,
happened.
that same night, Tyler's Tom Brady plushie not only was removed from the head of his bed, but he got pushed down to the floor, right down with, let's see, who else were you a huge fan of a couple of years ago?
It doesn't matter because I'm number one right now, and I would like tribute from our guest host too. Someone who doesn't want to contribute to the show.
I don't recognize your title. I'm still salty about
I don't
that.
recognize
I
yours.
am still salty about that. I should have been the champion this year, and I made playoffs. I would have destroyed everyone, and I would have been two-time. Not one time, but two-time.
Still, may I point out,
God.
may I point out, with an addition to another host to the table, there's still only one guy here that has never won a championship.
A Queensberry Football League championship, sir. I am not a one.
Public leagues
not a
don't
two,
count, Dave.
not a three, but a four-time NFL League champion.
Of what?
All right? Of an
I'm a
NFL league.
four-person
How
league
many
fan.
people in the
Oh,
league?
Put
yeah.
yourself and
Oh,
I don't count as being
It
in the league,
is.
Dave.
It is actually. I will humble brag about this. Count 'em, not two, not three, and not an extra robot, but a six-person league.
That
Yeah.
league's not recognized.
The
Zero
draft.
time, Dave.
The draft
Zero
is
time.
so.
What's come back to relevance, and the basic matter is,
Hey Dave, this is Ernst. Welcome back.
Thank you.
we got our current champion, last year champion,
A two-time champion.
and another two-time
Back-to-back.
champion.
Back-to-back. The repeat. Never before seen and never will see
The
again.
next year,
All I'm gonna say is, as long as
round 2.
as much as you try, and as much as you try, him and I are two-time champions. That's a long way to go
But you
before you
also
equal
went
us.
0-10.
A long way to go.
Owen
One of the
Wilson.
worst fantasy seasons I've seen in a long time.
Hey,
a long time.
You either go all in or you're gonna come up short.
was
It's the way it
awful.
is.
Boater, we made this nice little schedule here, and I'm noticing that, again, I'm guilty of this, but we didn't put salt on here. I'm not seeing it, Boater, are you?
Sir, salt is always on the menu.
All right. But there's some news going on recently.
We buy salt from Sam's Club because we need salt.
What's that? We have a BJ's around here. We don't have a Sam's Club or a Costco.
Oh yeah, Sam's Clubs are closing all over the place. Like that. DJ.
But what's this news about Vince McMahon? Something about a business venture he's doing now?
The XFL.
The what?
The XFL.
What does that stand for?
Extreme.
Extreme.
Extreme
Very,
what? Extreme
very
foosball
extreme.
table? Extreme foosball losers? Some of our audience
The
don't.
Extreme Football League, baby.
Oh.
If anyone doesn't know, the XFL started in 2001. It was an NBC venture with WWE venture, and it lasted one season. Complete flop.
Taboo over there.
Now the question is this the right time for a new league? I think it's the right time for a new league.
I'm
Why
ready.
I
is
think
that,
they can
Dan?
capitalize
I'm ready
on
for
it.
it.
Yeah, why
I
is
think
that,
when
Dan?
there's 75 million people that watch the NFL and they're only trying to get maybe 10% of that, which is 8 million, I think it's possible. I don't think they're trying to conquer all the audience.
You think Vince McMahon's going to go in on something
Yeah.
and he doesn't want to dominate that house?
I don't know. I think
He
with,
wants to.
I think with 8
He wants
teams,
to take it away from Roger.
I think with 8 teams in the spring, I think it'll be a hit.
I think it'll be very successful. 2 years' time to get everything right. They know from their mistakes.
And they're gonna do it the right way by having, right now it's all league owned, and then probably 2 years from now, they'll get the teams up, they're gonna sell the teams, make a lot of money that way to even further expand the league, and then they'll probably maybe go from 8 to 10 or maybe 8 to 12.
Well,
slowly
you're missing the
building
key
it.
part, Dan.
What?
They're not going to, when they first started, they did it in a year span, maybe less than a year. This year, this time around, they're doing it in 2 years. So they're laying
2020.
the bricks. They're laying the foundation of the league so it will prosper. It's all about the foundation. And what they need in that foundation is some key elements of players that they need to have in the league. And if you may, I have a very good list of players that they could add to the league to bring some excitement to the XFL.
Oh, do you?
Yes, do
believe
you
it.
guys want to hear them?
I would love to.
So I think one head coach slash GM slash owner of a team should be LeVar Ball. I'm just saying.
Oh, God!
That's an
Yeah.
awful
The
idea.
California Triple B
It's an
ballers,
awful
baby.
idea.
Oh my God.
I
Are
think
you a
he
big
should own
baller?
a team, and I'm a big baller. I'm all out. I'm a big baller.
You spent $500 on Walmart shoes, sir?
It's a mentality,
Dave,
Dave.
I just have not received them in the mail yet. So.
What about former
So my
Raider
5
great?
players, I'll name them. You ready? I got John Jones from UFC. He's going to be playing for the Las Vegas 8-Ballers.
I'm not allowing criminals.
By that time, besides, so I put 5 players that should be in the XFL besides Johnny Manziel because they're going to allow him in the XFL, meaning that they're going to allow the other people to have criminal felonies as well. I think Terrell Owens is going to suit up for
God.
1 season. I think Brock Lesnar is going to suit up for 1 season. A little cross-promotional WWE with the XFL. He's going to play defensive end. I think Blake Bortles is going to play in the XFL.
That's possible. He could be out in 2 years' time.
He could be out in 2 years' time. It starts in 2020. And my last wild card is Ricky Williams.
Oh, God.
That would be
Waterfall
pretty
wet.
wet to see Ricky Williams running rampant in the backfield. And I do have some names of 2020 free agents during that time who I think could possibly join the XFL. Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Des Bryant, Big Ben, and Tom Brady.
That could give Tom Brady a valid reason to say I conquer both the XFL and the NFL.
Oh God!
It'd be completely unnecessary.
All right. Did
Go in 1 year in the XFL.
did anyone else arbitrarily pick out people who don't play in the NFL or won't be in 2 years?
You know who I think would make a great owner in the XFL?
Uh-huh.
Donald Trump.
No, but I thought of that. Mark Cuban. The
that's a
Dallas
good one.
Sharks.
He would
Dallas
fit
Sharks.
so well. I'll agree with that. I agree with some of Tyler's picks. I really
I think
do.
Mark Cuban would get
But
into the
Agree with
XFL.
all of them.
Big baller brand. I don't want to see that. But Mark Cuban on the
more owner, Dave,
sidelines
one more owner.
during a Vince McMahon headed product. Watching Mark Cuban run onto the field a la Rex Ryan and not catch a penalty, and watch him tackle one of the players to the ground would be hilarious.
But what I like about it, here's what I like about it, is you have very vocal Mark Cuban in Dallas for the XFL, and you have very vocal Jerry Jones, the NFL Dallas. So between the two, there'd be a lot of trash talking between the NFL and
Don't
the
they not
XFL.
like each other too, Jim?
What?
Don't they not like each other too?
I don't know that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Of course they don't. They're two giant piles of money with cigars sticking out. They probably hate each other.
And as for players,
I also have one team name that I think Donald Trump should use if he does own a team. New York City Deplorables. I don't know. I think it would be a great one.
That's a good one.
It would be huge.
huge.
All right, so
Huge.
Mike, do you have any of
got
this
some good
XFL
players.
stuff? What do you got?
The number one player I want to see in the XFL is Jamarcus Russell.
I was just gonna say.
Oh God! Get on your Google
tried
machines
to
at
get
home,
another
by the
shot.
way, if you
Former
have no idea who this is.
He could throw 80 yards on his knees.
He'll be bombing it in a couple of years. A couple other quarterbacks too. Colt McCoy didn't get a shot. Mark Sanchez, perhaps. I wouldn't mind seeing him. I actually was thinking Terrell Owens for it too, but he's just a little too old now. So maybe Chad Ochocinco, but I think he might have had some
Not bad.
criminal history there.
Wow.
But
He also
I'm not
headbutted,
sure.
so you don't know.
Dave, who do you got?
As much as I think the XFL is just going to build up and use have a Johnny Money Manziel on headset or steal people who are off contract here with ESPN or are having downtime, like Jonathan Coachman, who is appearing on WWE product but doesn't work for ESPN anymore, but people will be able to say former ESPN personality. I think someone who's going to make a big splash in the news for the XFL is going to be Matt Leinart. I think he's going to show up. I think he's going to swagger onto the field, and I think he's going to throw the ball straight into the ground like he did in the NFL anyway. But it's not going to matter because the XFL isn't going to be about the playing. It's going to be about watching people hurt each other. And so they're just going to pick up random guys. You're going to have Devin Devinenstein. He played 6 weeks of JV football in elementary school, and he's ready to be here today. I think all of the people who have scrubbed out of the NFL are going to at least make a pass at it. You at home just pick a name and it'll probably at least get mentioned once. Yes.
What about Jimmy Galapagos?
Jimmy Flip Flop? Jimmy Garoppolo?
Jimmy Garoppolo?
Jimmy who? Is he the starting quarterback for the New England Patrons? I don't know. I don't really. It's just I think it's going to be a rolling reel of people getting hurt because of those. If those XFL rules
I don't
return
think they're
from
doing
the,
the
They're not
XFL
doing it
rules.
that way.
I hope not, because
here.
yikes.
Tom, you name a few.
Yeah.
And we'll get into the logistics.
Who
of the
do you
XFL.
got?
Some team names.
Who
too.
do you think
There's
would
only
go?
one I want to see. Money Manziel, baby. I want to see Money Manziel back on the field.
He's already tweeted about
Johnny
it as well.
XFL. Let's bring him in.
He tweeted that he's looking to come in.
Yeah, but he tweeted
2020.
about being in the NFL in the next season, and that ain't gonna happen.
I also think you could maybe see Jay Cutler. Tony Romo.
Timmy Tebow.
Tony Romo could have went into an NFL team if he wanted
And
to.
if he fails his third drug test, maybe there's a career for Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
Whoa. Whoa.
Braun Strowman?
No, that's not a guy I want to see on the football
But
field.
let's get into the logistics of the XFL for a minute. What I do like, what I've heard already about it, and there's a lot of people joking about it when you read their articles, and a lot of people who actually analyze are going, there's a good chance this could do well. What I do like is that Vince McMahon has taken himself out of the picture. He said someone else will be running the show. He is not going to be involved in it. He will obviously be the owner of it, I'm assuming, unless it goes public or whatever. But he's not. He's going to hire key personnel. And I like the idea that there's no switchover from WWE to the XFL. Meaning back in the day they had Jim Ross, who great announcer, and I actually think Jim Ross did well in the XFL, but
and
still.
Jerry the King Lawler was standing next to him.
There's too much crossover, and I think the XFL by its own, and I think acting more of a traditional football league, I think they'll have a little bit of a demand. I think they'll be able to carry themselves. I don't think they'll go out of business. I think it may not be a hit as quick or soon, but I do think they'll carry themselves.
I think it'll do well. NFL offseason, people want to watch football. 2 years to make it quality. Get some big names in there. Money Manziel, specifically. I do want to see
And
him.
does that logo not look fresh? That's pretty
That is
fresh.
nice.
That's a nice logo.
Eh.
I actually didn't like it first compared to the old one, and now I do.
You know what this is actually representative
Notice how it's red, white, and blue?
And notice that it's got two X's on it. So it's the double XFL.
Actually, good point. I actually didn't really realize that. You could say it represented 2.0. But didn't the black one, the first one, have it? The X in the background was black,
It
right?
was a black.
gray?
It was either black or gray, but But Extreme Football League, listen, grunge died with Kurt Cobain, and we should have left words like extreme with that. We should have the same thing with bell-bottom pants and all those. You just yuck.
And chains on your pants? Dave, I know you used to wear those.
Oh my God, I was the coolest in middle school. And then at the beginning of high school, before I got beaten up a lot for having chains on my wallet, that was cool.
Yeah, it was a black X in the background. I forgot. I had to look at it. I had to look it up.
I'll throw that on screen for us.
And one other person who possibly could play in the XFL. Oh, this one right here.
Me?
A little Mike Batista.
Mike Batista coming out of retirement?
I'd love to.
Get a helmet fit on that head or no?
Maybe a shot helmet.
Taking some smoke breaks on the sidelines. Classic.
Our live viewer Dakota brings up a very good point. He has a feeling the new XFL will be influenced by the PG nature of current WWE, so it won't be as it was before. I agree with that in that WWE people, not WWE itself, went to the table to represent this new company that Vince McMahon made so that it is totally separate. But you have every feeling that today's media doesn't want another XFL where people are getting injured running at a football, people are stomping on each other or going to the sidelines, beer being thrown onto the field by people in the stands and the awful coach of that New York team.
Mike, what do you think of the XFL? As a big NFL football fan.
I think it'll be good. More football, the better, especially in the off season.
So you're telling me that's gonna be a product you're gonna watch when the season's up,
If it's
when
good.
the Super Bowl ends. Well, from what I took from the press conference, the season of the XFL is gonna start. There's gonna be a little bit of a gap. From what I can tell, he said they're not doing it in the spring. They're doing it in the winter into the spring. So is that the Super Bowl ends,
No, he said
XFL
late
starts?
January, early February.
So is that
would
maybe?
be Super Bowl
I would
time.
not doubt that they'd try 1 week, where
Against
the two
the
go
Pro
head
Bowl.
to head, just to see.
I would
if
think
they-
they would do it this weekend.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl weekend.
If they do
people
Pro Bowl
don't watch
weekend-
the Pro Bowl, it's water trash.
Yeah.
Right.
So put it in between right before the Super Bowl. Wouldn't be bad.
And I will say, for all the people that hate in the XFL, if there's one person you don't want to bet against, it's Vince McMahon. Because Vince McMahon
He failed once.
He failed
Kiss
once.
his ass a little bit more, Dan. Pucker up.
I'm just saying. I mean, you look at what he's done with WWE, and you look at what he's done with. How many people have a complete collapse like the first XFL, and then drop $100 million into a second one? Not too many people do it again.
Someone who has a lot of money from you.
People with gambling addictions do that all the time, actually.
Tyler, what do you think? You think the XFL will be successful?
I do. My one question is, though, I don't know if it's going to be successful. I think it's going to be something I want to watch. But my one question is will there be an XFL Fantasy Football League that can
I was just thinking that. If that opens it up as well, that would be nice.
And they said in the opening video, fantasy.
Coming to a Yahoo Fantasy League near you, XFL.
Just another
Start your
thing
league
for me to
early.
be the champ of.
Well, so
I'm picking Money Man's out.
all right. So Tyler thinks it'll work. Do you think it's going to work? Do you think we'll see a second season? Yes or no?
No, I think he said everything he needs to say with just his face.
Mike, a second season? Tom?
I do.
Yes, no
Yes,
question.
Tyler?
No question.
Well,
Yeah.
so it looks like we all agree that at least it'll go on a second season for the XFL.
I mean, it'll succeed, and it has to, because it'll be in such markets like Des Moines, Iowa, Hoboken, New Jersey, New York, North Dakota, and Miami, Tennessee. They'll have all the stadiums in your local homes. Rent out your tickets now, and make sure your arena football teams go to the tryouts for the actual teams, because they're going to need them.
Yikes. All right, so I think we're good with the XFL. So real quick, we want to make sure you guys follow us. If there's any questions, comments, or thoughts, please subscribe to us on our YouTube channel at Behind the Counter, Facebook at Insane Games NY, and Facebook Insane Games FL for Florida. Also, still coming soon to Twitch. We're still trying to get the name all figured out, but hopefully coming soon to Twitch.
I mean, and the program. It's not like we're ready to go once we get a handle. It's
Right.
It's logistics. There's a lot of logistics, ladies and gentlemen.
And we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and do WWE later, but we'll get into video games next. So we'll be right back. And we're back to Behind the Counter, Episode 4, presented by Insane Games. We're now going to do our segment, The Stud, or Dud. For
Hey, Dan, scream a little bit louder next time.
What do you mean?
We're back.
Well, you always cry that you can't hear us, so it's Stud or Dud segment.
You almost blew out my eardrum, so.
So we're going to do 2 weeks of them here. So our first one coming up is UFC 3. It has been somewhat of a game that gets played in the store over the years. I think...
I dominate Mike, and you
I'm undefeated
dominate
against
you.
you.
What?
I'm undefeated against
You're
you.
undefeated
I
against
have
me.
highlights of me knocking you out on my
It goes back and
on
forth.
my
I'd say it's
gamer tag.
50-50.
If anyone wants to check it out, if you see a knockout
Well,
on there, it's
no.
probably
he's saying
Tom.
he beat you, and you're saying you're undefeated, so which one's right?
I'm right.
You're not undefeated against me.
You've never beaten me.
I smoke you like a Christmas animal sometimes. Knockout City.
You've never touched Chuck Liddell.
I think Mike.
You never
You're
touched
scared.
Chuck Liddell.
I am a little scared of Chuck Liddell, but that's not because of you. It's just Chuck Liddell, the Iceman. Right? But I'm not. I've beaten you several times. Several times. The Iceman is pretty.
But you're not undefeated.
So Mike, we'll start with you. Do you think it's going to be a stud or dud based off
Definitely
of
a
some of
stud. UFC 2 is good. They're going to have more fighters in this one. Microtransactions, I heard. So I don't really. It's like for the Madden Ultimate Team kind of business, I guess. But I just go online and knock people out. So I don't really. I'm sure it'll be great.
Tell the people at home. Tell the people at home what you're going to do to them when they play in UFC 3.
I am going to knock them out.
There's a bumper. There's a bumper.
So when UFC 3 comes out, and we pop it on one of these TVs,
Face. This taboo face.
you're going to destroy this one right here?
Yeah,
With
I might
ease.
not be here. I might be in Philly. We can do Xbox Live,
ease.
and I will embarrass you.
Don't make me bring Dan
Embarrass
Henderson
you.
to the table either.
I'm not scared of Dan Henderson. I'm not scared of Dan Henderson. You can't handle St. Peru. Rory McDonald might not be in it anymore.
The only guy I'm scared of is the alligator or whatever his name
You know what? If you guys are going to name drop so hard, can one of you in big bold letters write Google it? Because the casual observer will have totally been like,
All that needs to be known is I knock Mike out more times than he knocks me out. It's as simple as that. Except when he's the Iceman. He's absurd with Chuck Liddell. It's cheating. I'm sorry for swearing, but it gets me a little wound up with the Iceman.
The only guy you're good with is Khabib.
Khabib is nasty
And I
too.
knocked him out with Bruce Lee.
So, Tom, stud or dud?
Stud. Yeah.
Hands
There's a
down?
little bit of uproar about the microtransactions, but that's not a big deal.
Classic topic.
Just go online.
Dave, you got any history with UFC?
I have an extensive history with UFC 3, eating the canvas and having the ref saving me from further beatings. But the one victory I have, the one time we had one copy for the PS4 left, and myself and someone who I will not besmirch his name at this moment by mentioning it, but we fought, and it was the only match I definitively won by non-ref stoppage, and it was sweet. I love that game because the mechanics for somebody who doesn't watch a lot of UFC, who doesn't do a lot of these advanced fighting games with a lot of mechanics going on with where your left stick are going, right stick, all that stuff. But I like the game. It flows well. The graphics are good. I know it comes to every sports game. Every year the graphics are better. But seriously, when you can see the beads of sweat exchanging from one disgusting fat man beating up another disgusting fat man, and just their sweat is all over the person being humiliated, and they're like, "Urgh."
Who'd you beat? What were their initials?
What?
Who'd you beat? What were their initials? You don't have to say their name, but. Really? Really?
Long may he live.
The Magnifico.
Except for
Magnifico.
the one time. But if anybody wants to come into the store and have a feel-good moment and I'm working, I will absolutely play. I was about to say throw hands, and that is not what I want to do.
Tyler, what you got?
But so Tyler, who do you got?
I'm gonna say it's a stud. I think it's gonna be cool with they have like the scope mode. I like the name just in general. I saw that it's gonna have more fluid striking. The frame rate's gonna be faster. And one thing that I think could get Dan into it is that you also can promote your fight in the career mode. So there's a little bit more that goes into it when you're fighting and whatnot. So I think it's going to be a really good game, and I'm definitely going to be throwing down with some rando customers in the store if they want to get those hands.
So exactly what Dave was not trying to say.
I mean, he has openly invited people to fight him in public.
those mitts.
I, on the other hand, have invited people to feel good about themselves and beat someone at a video game store at a video game.
Have you two
They
ever
need
crossed paths?
that Stone Cold.
I destroyed Tyler at UFC.
Yeah, Mike destroyed me. It wasn't even a fight.
He was Johnny Bones.
You lost with Johnny Bones?
I was John Bones, and he was like Chuck Liddell. I
The
think.
Iceman.
He destroyed me.
Again.
I was feeling so good. I was running off the cage trying to kick him, and then bam, Mike just
All that
knocked
needs to
me
be
out.
known
and I
is
was
Mike
like,
is
wow.
a scumbag.
So from
with
what
the
I can
Iceman.
tell, Tyler loses to Mike, and then Mike loses to Tom.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Well, when it comes
That's
out,
a
we'll have to
blatant
settle it
lie.
on this.
And if he doesn't have the Iceman, he's a mere mortal.
So you're saying he's a cheap
How are
player?
you?
He's not a cheap player. He just whips out the overhand right with Chuck
I know
Liddell.
the
It's
inner
completely
workings of
absurd.
the fight game.
It's completely
One,
absurd.
two down the pipe, and then spam uppercuts with Mike Tyson.
He starts throwing that when he gets the uppercuts going. It's a whole thing. You get ragdolled into the cage. It's embarrassing. It's demeaning.
So you have a lot of experience with Mike in fighting games. Describe to us what you think. What would you characterize Mike in fighting games?
Characterize it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good at fighting games. He's a fighting champion.
Whoa.
That's widely known.
So Mortal Kombat, you think he's...
Mortal Kombat is the
I
best.
think he was looking for something derogatory.
He's
but-
trying to get you to jump on their train of Mike's the worst and
So
just more
Tekken,
salt.
you'd say he's good at?
Tekken, I'll beat him in Tekken. He also uses Kazuya Mishima, like the main guy
Use
in the
Eddie
game.
Gordo.
I don't
Anyone
use Eddie. I use
anyone
Christy
watching
Montero.
that plays Tekken knows, so I will just
Christy
end it there.
Montero. And you know I'm good with Christy Montero. It's not the usual button mashing. I whip out combos with Christy. I don't use Eddie Gordo.
I have a hidden
I use
move with
Eddie Gordo
Kazuya
and
to
button
win
mash
at
all
any
day.
moment.
He starts getting sweaty with his hands and goes crazy in fighting games. Right?
Street Fighter?
That has
Starts
been
getting
known.
sweat in his eyes.
I don't respect Street Fighter because they're PlayStation exclusive, but I would win
Any
with that
fighting
as well.
game. Killer Instinct, he's absurd about. He just sits there for hours and learns moves.
What about
and
Naruto?
Wicked cheap. What?
Naruto.
I'll beat you in Naruto. Are you kidding
Also
me?
have some clips on my gamer tag of beating Tom.
Naruto? You won't play me in Naruto because I
What's
beat you.
Naruto's dad name? That guy's absurd.
What's his name? What?
Oh, Minato!
What about Kiba? What about Kiba, Mike?
I already won with
What
Minato.
about Kiba? You won't play me if I'm Kiba.
Say it.
I will-
Say it.
Wow.
Say what?
You do
Good.
Naruto all the time.
No, don't. God.
That's how they say it.
Sasuke,
Say
Susanoo?
I beat you with Naruto Sage Mode.
He's the most OP character in the game.
I think-
Susanoo is a little bit more
Kiba
absurd.
is dripping
Damn, I
wet.
think I found
Is
your fighting
dripping
game uses a
wet.
lot of drama.
He's just cheap.
I go around, we got
I'm
there.
dripping wet with Kiba.
This
Dripping
could
wet.
not get any more
Kiba is the
uncomfortable,
worst.
but yeah, because
I'm just saying it
I had to
exactly
make
how
it. I
they
had to
say
go
it.
around the wheel to find the right game, but I think I found it. Naruto.
So-
Naruto, I will destroy Mike in Naruto.
Well, I'll bring up one of my
Naruto,
old clips and we'll
Ultimate
play it on the next episode.
so
Tyler, don't do that.
I have the whole fight saved on
So
Xbox
I think for-
Live.
Will you beat me?
Yep.
Yeah, because it was a monumental moment for you. Because I
There's
usually
3 in a row, so
destroy
we can
you.
play all 3.
So for
No, I'm just kidding. There's only one.
for UFC, I'll give it a stud. I think it has a lot to live up to with UFC 2. I think UFC 2 is a big upgrade from the first UFC. But I think it'll be overall. I think it'll be pretty popular. Those games have similar to WWE. They have a very, very core base of fans that get those games. I do think it get boring
I'm really hoping
relatively
that the
quick.
career mode's a lot longer than the second one, because I found that the career mode on the second one was a lot shorter. I finished it in like a week. So I'm hoping that it'll be a lot longer.
Yeah, I only feel like UFC gets a little repetitive after a while. I don't know how you can do the
Because
whole.
you're getting knocked out every time.
So UFC comes out February 2nd. So that should be a good one.
guys.
And then,
That's secret. That's secret.
I'm sorry, did we hear someone talking?
Are you going to hit him with it?
I mean,
you turn him off again?
You want the off
Are you gonna turn my
button?
finger?
You want me to hit
He
it?
holds your life very. I mean, he can end you real quick.
Terminated in 1 second.
He's ball. And he thinks he knows Muay Thai. He tells everybody, I'm a black belt Muay Thai, yet he won't show anybody any moves.
That is
Merely
more than the
for
whole
defense.
rules.
It's merely
Exactly.
for defense.
One of the rules of Muay Thai is you're not allowed to show your skills in public.
So if I Stone Cold Stunning you right now, you're not going to show me
I'm
Muay
not
Thai?
allowed to
It's
do it.
only used in
It's
defense.
not for
Tyler.
If you
It's only
stun
on
him
defense.
through
If
the
your life is
television
on,
right
if we get
now,
into a situation where your life's on the line, I'll be there. And I'll be ready to go. But until then, you don't show off the skills of Muay
Dan
Thai.
Shevlin
It's not-
is Batman.
And don't forget it, Dave. So we got I'm probably gonna say it wrong. Dissidia. Did I say that wrong? Or
That's
right?
correct.
That is correct.
Final Fantasy coming out for PlayStation 4 exclusive. Now, I'm not a Final Fantasy guy, so I'm going to exclude myself from this conversation because I have very little patience with Final Fantasy. So, I mean, first
I'm
off,
sure there's a core following for it. I
off,
know nothing about this game.
it's PlayStation 4, so let's be serious. I mean,
And
it's
it's only
a
on
joke
PS4.
anyway. I mean, come on.
How about they
well,
take the resources for this game that, frankly, I don't really know much about, and just make Final Fantasy VII Remake?
It's already in the
A
works.
game
It's
that
in the
will,
works.
I'll buy that game. I don't play Final Fantasy. It's only for PS4, actually, so I wouldn't buy it.
Oh, yeah.
But I would buy it if I had a PS4. They've been promising that game since like the PS3.
Yep.
How about just make that game, and then you can make this goofy Distia, whatever this is. I don't know what this game is.
You know what?
I'm sure there's a core for it that'll buy it, but
Scooch that camera over here because I'm the only one who cares enough about this to talk to the people
I
about
care,
it.
Dave.
Tyler, you don't have the
He's a
nerd
PS4
acumen.
boy.
Whoa, shots fired.
PlayStation 4 owner, Dave. I care.
The PlayStation 4 guys are fighting now.
See, there's no respect among brothers or PS4.
Xbox or brothers. Nothing can tear this fabric apart.
Let's
Nothing.
rewind the tape back just 2 minutes ago. We watched you guys play each other vehemently, and let's talk about brotherhood. But Dissidia Final Fantasy NT looks like another Final Fantasy Dissidia title. It's going to be exactly what you're looking for. If you like that, if that's the sort of thing you like, that's going to be the game you're going to like. It's it's produced by Koei Tecmo, the guys who do Dynasty Warriors. It's designed by Team Ninja, so the guys that do Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive. So it has solid mechanics behind it. Fortunately, it doesn't look like there's a lot of clipping in between the characters, as is in Dead or Alive. No, nobody mentioned that when we were talking fighting games because it's bad and it's awful, and I hate Bass, even though I love to play as him. And Kevin Nash played him in the movie, but that's hearsay. I think it'll be good, but I think it will not make giant waves. It will not be a selling point for people who are on the fence about buying an Xbox One or a PS4. I think it'll be good if you like Final Fantasy characters that are not used very often anymore, a la Cloud, Strife from Final Fantasy VII, your guys from Final Fantasy VIII, and all the other titles. I even saw guys from, what was it, the original Final Fantasy? Who was he?
Kefka.
Yeah, Kefka
The clown.
makes a very featured appearance in the video, which you should check out because it's pretty fun to watch just in and of itself. Although, word to the wise, just like any other Final Fantasy game, it's a lot of preview of pre-rendered cutscenes and minimal gameplay, because just like any other Final Fantasy title.
I don't even know what kind of is it a spectacle fighter? Is it like a fighting game that's like 1 versus 1? Like what kind of game even is Dissidia? I don't know.
So I'm gonna reference something.
Looked a little.
Now I have to warn the bald counter for this one. Brace yourself.
Dave, be very
I'm about to
careful.
explode with
The bald
bald
counter
counter.
does
It's
full
so
scenes.
dumb.
It's not doing difficult words
My
anymore.
patience right now listening to this whole conversation is very, very thin.
It is a looking like a 3-on-3 fighting game. So like a Dynasty Warriors, where you have
Like what, Dan? What other games of 3-on-3 fighting games that you like?
hold on, I'm gonna give this to the audience.
This is not going to be pretty.
Does it start with a G?
Don't say it, Dave.
Maybe it does. So instead, I'm just gonna hold it up
It
here.
is bald.
All right. But again, Tyler, I don't think it's going to make our PS4 acumen any stronger. It's not going to, that sort of stuff. But I think it's going to be a good game, and if you like it, you're going to like
So
it.
the stutter and dud.
A stud.
Mike? Stud.
I disagree.
I like fighting games, so I'm sure I'll be the best at this as well.
Tyler, why do you disagree?
I disagree because I think it's going to be. I mean, this is coming from someone that's never played a fighting game like Dissidia. I haven't played Dynasty Warrior nor Gundam Versus, like 'cause I'm not bald. But I heard that it's going to be a team-based online game. I think
There's some
it's
pretty
single player
lucky
online. I just don't think there's not going to be a lot to do. So I think it's going to fizzle out after a week. I just don't think there's enough to do on it. So I
Don't
think it's
all
going to be a
Final
dud.
Fantasy games just fizzle out after a week?
All of them except 7.
Your Honor. Let's see. Where are some of these
He's in the
games?
cabinet. Here we go.
What are you doing, Dave?
Any of the Final Fantasy titles?
They're not in there.
Oh, well, here we go.
Don't you work here, Dave?
I have work here. You would think that, and then, but for example, games that came out in the 1997, I mean, this is a re-release, but 1999, and they're still retaining their value. Final Fantasy titles. Whereas you take a
Well,
look
Final
at
Fantasy has a huge following anyway, so I mean, people are going to play it. I'm just saying, if I
Final
were
Fantasy, yes.
As a PS4 owner, if I saw that on the rack, I'd say, looks kind of stupid, not for me. I'm not gonna buy it. That's why it's a dud.
I'm done. No more Final Fantasy talk. I've had enough. I'm extremely bored right now. Shadow of Colossus, PlayStation 4.
Oh,
What do you think about that one? Shadow of Colossus, PlayStation 4.
first.
Yeah, might as well.
I think it's going to be a stud. The game on PS2 was wicked wet. Everybody loved it. So it's. I heard that they made it exactly like it, obviously with HD graphics, and the graphics are. I watched the gameplay of it. It looked really good. The graphics look spectacular. I did see though that they changed one button and one button only. They changed the jump button from triangle to X. So if
Big
anybody's
change.
going to be
Big
playing
change.
on PS4,
How do you know that?
I did my research, Dan.
Did you read an article on that?
I watched plenty of footage on Shadow of Colossus because as a
Oh my
PlayStation 4
God.
owner, I should be informed about what games are coming out, and I think I'm going to try it now.
This is making me sick.
It looks dripping wet, and I know the backstory too now.
PS4 is desert dry.
This whole PlayStation 4 segment just became
Sandstorm.
Dave, what do you got?
Go to Mike. I have a bit.
Mike,
Shadow of Colossus, I think it's going to be pretty good. Huge bosses. You get to like climb up their bodies, kill them, take their cheeks, but
Stab them in their head.
it is a PS4 exclusive, so I won't play it, but I've
will?
heard a lot of people say it's good, so I'll probably play it. Here, only
Shame.
though.
Tom, should I even ask?
I don't really know. I saw a video of it. The graphics look good, so I'm sure it'll do well. What I did hear is the company who's making it might remake Metal Gear Solid. HD graphics. The original. Oh,
Speaking of
God,
Metal
they're
Gear
sopping
Solid,
wet.
The originator of
Sopping
wetness.
wet.
Speaking of
One
Metal
of the
Gear Solid, is there
wettest
not some
games.
kind of survival game that just came out?
Nope.
I'm not acknowledging
there's not.
I'm not
No,
acknowledging that
there
game.
is not.
That game is
Metal Gear
wicked
Solid
stupid.
died with Hideo Kojima
It was
folding
the
up,
backstab
packing up his
behind
desk.
I tried the beta. I did it. I hated it even
Can
more after playing it.
can someone explain what the game
Basically,
is?
Yeah,
they
what are you guys talking about?
fired Kojima, and then they just took all the assets of Metal Gear Solid 5, and then made a new
zombie
enemy as
game.
zombies. and you'd think that it'd at least be decent because it's all Metal Gear 5. Stupid, awful, horrible. We'll never play it. We'll never ever play that game.
Mike, do you feel like you're in the same?
And I love Metal Gear Solid 5.
It's
You
hard,
lost some
it's
words?
hard for me to say anything bad about anything Metal Gear, but that game was stupid. I don't like to waste my time getting resources. I was picking up wood, freaking metal, whatever. I don't have time for that. I just want to kill zombies if I'm gonna give that game
Are
a
you ever
try.
gonna beat Metal Gear Solid 5 though?
Maybe someday.
You haven't beat the game yet?
Game's not a good Metal Gear. It's
And
a
you-
good game,
and
but
you're
it's
That
not
is
a
one
good Metal
of the
Gear.
wettest
I've played it
shoot.
like 6 times.
I'm trying to get it 100%, but it's very hard. I'm at 96% of beating it entirely. But it's one of the wettest mechanic games I've ever played. The mechanics
it,
in
it's
that
a
is
good game.
dripping wet. It's the
It's not
perfect
a good
shooter.
Metal Gear,
It's the
though.
perfect third-person
There's
shooter.
no David Hayter. They stabbed Hideo in
That
the
was
back.
questionable.
They told him chop chop. And
That game is sopping wet. Dave, do you agree?
Yes, I do agree with you.
Wait, are you a
I,
Metal Gear Solid fan?
of course. I will cede that I am second chair to Tom in Metal Gear Solid fandom. But to go back to Shadow of Colossus for a second, I think that game is going to be fantastic. And I think it is going to bring big numbers for the PlayStation 4. I think it'll be good build upon. And I think it's going to be recycling of property that is done well, unlike Metal Gear Survive, where they're taking assets and then just going, what did they do in those popular games? Zombies. So yeah, that'll be good. That'll translate. People will love that. They'll spend $60 and then another $80 in microtransactions before they even know what's happened to them.
You gonna buy Shadow of Colossus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
So I'm guessing you think it's a stud.
I think it is a championship caliber stud, especially when they changed it from the triangle button to the X button. Is the only thing I hated about that game, aside from the limited graphic ability on the system, where climbing would be hindered by things that you thought were parts you could climb on, and because of the same texture, and then they weren't, and then you'd fall to your death off the giant creature. But that's neither here nor there. Boater, anything to weigh in on UFC 3, Dissidia, or Shadow of Colossus?
Not that hasn't already been said. I have no horse in the game for UFC. Dissidia, I think, is going to do well for the people that have enjoyed Dissidia in the past, but may not draw in any new players. And Shadow of the Colossus is going to be huge because it's one of the PS2 games that people don't shut up about, so a remaster of that is going to do great.
Wholeheartedly agree.
There you go. By the way,
And only on PlayStation
does your little
4.
bracelet say GameStop on it?
Does my what?
No, it doesn't.
My St. Jude's Play Live bracelet
That's
that I
a
got
GameStop?
last year for supporting St. Jude's on youtube.com/boaterbug and twitch.com/boaterbug.
GameStop was a sponsor of the Play Live program last year, so they got their name on the bracelet. I gave them the one
Now-
with the GameStop on it.
I'm gonna
I
get
kept
some
the
duct
one
tape
that
off that Dave. Cover that logo up.
Now-
Alright,
Good
that
move,
is
Boater.
absurd.
Great move.
Dave.
Now we're Insane Games to sponsor a Boaterbug St. Jude's Play Live thing. Maybe I'd be wearing one with a different name on the back of it, but. Being that you guys did very nicely come into the St. Jude's Play Live last year and support us that way, which was great. But this year it's coming up, and we should definitely have some stuff going on with that. But if they shill out the big buckaroos to make nice rubber bands and things,
Take it off, Dave. Now. Take it off
Now, Dave.
now. Throw it in the trash. Let's go.
never. Whoa! I'm not throwing out something for St. Jude's
it.
Play Live. That is
I
the
won't destroy it. I'll
Don't
wettest.
give it to him.
I know he's not going to destroy it.
Rip it, Tom. Rip it.
One game that we didn't put on here that we won't talk about because we are taking next week off from the Super Bowl is Dynasty Warriors 9 comes out. Real quick, because we didn't really do any research, stud or dud? I'm guessing stud, Dave.
Oh my God!
No, Todd.
Quick. How did any more PlayStation 4 propaganda? Stud or dud?
Stud.
Stud or dud?
Wait, what did Dave say?
Stud.
Stud?
Yeah.
What's that have to do with anything?
I'm gonna go with stud then, because whatever Dave said, 'cause I haven't seen anything on it.
Yeah. I don't, you like Dynasty Warriors or no?
It's kind of fun. It gets old very fast.
I haven't heard of, like, as far as Dynasty Warriors fans, I generally haven't had them say, oh, this one was worse than what came before. It's usually always a better game than the previous one. I'm going to say stud.
Stud.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you, Dan?
I could care less.
So he's voting for Dud.
Yikes.
I'll vote for
You
dud.
could or could not care less, Dan.
I could care less.
So you could care.
It's not how it goes.
Making fun of me.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm ready to go whenever you want, right back at you.
Why are you yelling? Why are you
Why
yelling?
are you crying?
I don't understand why you're getting so triggered right
And
now.
you're crying.
Why are
Alright,
you getting
we're
so
gonna take a
mad?
break.
I don't understand.
We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back to go over some final Royal Rumble thoughts right after this. And we're back to Behind the Counter presented by Insane Games, our episode number 4, broadcasting from the Northway Plaza location in Queensboro, New York, and from the Countryside Mall in Clearwater, Florida. And of course, we're broadcasting on Facebook Live and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Behind the Counter, and also on Facebook at Insane Games NY and Insane Games FL. One of our favorite pay-per-views is tonight, the Royal Rumble. It's almost about to start. What do you think? Any final, I know we discussed it last week, but any last minute changes? I'm starting to predict that maybe Daniel Bryan could wrestle in the Royal Rumble tonight. I'm hearing more and more that that's a likely possibility.
Dave, being the WWE historian that you are, did Daniel Bryan win a championship in New Orleans at the Royal Rumble or the WrestleMania they had?
Yes, he did.
Huh. And where are they having the WrestleMania this year?
In New Orleans.
Huh. I think it might be that Dan could be correct.
However,
doesn't.
however, they are in Philadelphia tonight, one of the rowdiest
Birds.
clouds.
Go Birds!
Especially on their hype with the going to the Super Bowl, and I've heard rumors that WWE could screw up like they've done so many times before and make Roman Reigns win it again in Philadelphia.
The big dog?
So we're talking about past history. Roman Reigns won in 2015 from the Royal Rumble in Philadelphia.
I made a list of who I think WWE, it would be a smart and all right, or just don't even do that list of people that they should have win on both sides, on men and women. I think the smart choice is The Miz. just because he's a great champion, and he would probably have a white-hot rivalry with Brock Lesnar, but I don't think that the fans would really feel like, does The Miz actually stand a chance against Brock Lesnar? Probably not. So they would have to take the title off of Brock Lesnar in order to do that. And I think Nia Jax would also be a smart one on the women's side, too. They need to push her.
Dave, who do you think's going to win real quick?
Rusev.
Interesting pick. What about women's? Remember, we have 2 Royal Rumbles here.
Asuka. I don't think they're gonna, even though technically it wouldn't be a singles loss.
Wouldn't that be an opportunity
She's
for
the
her
one
to
who's
lose?
never lost, right?
Yes.
All right.
But they've, in the past, WWE has, they lost in a tag team, but in singles they are undefeated.
They do like to throw those around.
They could throw around those caveats and stars and things, but I think it's going to be, you know what, I'll go back with last week's. Jinder Mahal is going to win the Men's Royal Rumble, and Asuka for the women's.
Now, this one over here, I've been doing a little research throughout the week, and he's become a big Braun Strowman fan.
Yep. Huge beard, fat dude, ponytail, freaking super soaker wet.
He's pretty greasy.
So do you think he's going to win the
I'm going to have to
Universal
start
title
using
tonight?
that one.
I think he will win. Hopefully he throws John Cena out of the cage. Or not cage,
Mike.
ring.
He's not wrestling John
He's
Cena.
in
But it's a
there.
Royal Rumble, right?
No,
Everyone's
Braun
in there.
Strowman is fighting for the title tonight.
Oh, but he's not in the Royal Rumble?
No. Well, I wouldn't be
WWE stupid dead to me again. I tried to give it a chance. Now it's
I
not.
bet you he's the guy. Braun Strowman would be the guy to fight in the match and then also come out
Well,
and
he's
fight in the
winning,
pay-per-view.
He's going to win whatever he's in.
He's going to beat Brock Lesnar?
Yes.
Okay.
Who do you
Brock
think's
Lesnar.
winning the Royal Rumble?
What?
Who do you think's winning the Royal Rumble?
I think The Miz will win. I think Brock Lesnar will win. He'll destroy Braun Strowman. And I also think Daniel Bryan will make an appearance. That will be the big surprise.
So,
Mike, real quick. I think since Toys R Us is closing down some stores, they should use your Super Soaker as a tactic to blow out on Super Soakers. It is Super Soaker wet.
they already had a tactic. The one here.
What is that?
The one here is staying open.
No, it's not.
No,
It's on the list.
No. Today they come out.
on the list.
They renegotiated the lease. So,
Yes.
Ooh, I
so
like it.
I don't think it's going anywhere. But
Still gonna go get some super soakers.
I think my big surprise would be Daniel Bryan. My 2 surprises: Daniel Bryan. I think Goldberg. I think Goldberg can make a wild surprise tonight.
Way
For
off.
women's,
No.
Way
Super
off.
old.
for
Super
women's,
bald.
do we all think Ronda Rousey's showing up tonight?
Yes.
They're making it a hard sell that she's not going to be there.
Classic WWE doing that too.
I
Might
don't
add.
think she'll make an appearance.
You don't?
Don't think so.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. That would be an entirely missed opportunity for WWE to not only double, not triple, but quadruple down on the money they would make if they said, oh, and next month at this pay-per-view,
Right.
Ronda Rousey fighting for the WWE.
WrestleMania?
Well, they want her to be there.
Yeah.
But why not advertise it for Fastlane when it's already going to be mediocre? I mean, they have enough already on the line for the fact that it's just a Royal Rumble. I mean,
Yeah.
I think enough people. That's a pay-per-view you don't have to sell. People are going to watch the Royal Rumble.
Because the gimmick, you can't turn, like with WWE, matches book what's in these things, but for the Royal Rumble, it's guaranteed going to be at least 30 people, so they can't like boo-hoo book it into oblivion because there has to be at least 30 people, so it has to be at least 30 minutes. That's
Right.
like a guaranteed. As much as they can poop on it and have larger men throw all the small guys out. Dean Ambrose.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good pay-per-view.
Can they just not let Cena or Reigns
Yeah, I agree.
or Randy Orton win the champion or win the Royal Rumble? I think that would
John
just kill
Cena.
the WWE as a whole.
We've got some good feedback from our friend Dakota again. Thank you very much. Braun will probably win, seeing as Brock's contract is coming to an end soon, and he has stated he wants to go back to the UFC. Which
He needs to stop juicing.
Don't get me
gonna
started.
happen. Not gonna
Don't
happen.
get me started. On
Too
the
old,
UFC.
take steroids, will be banned for 5 years.
Bellator?
Bellator's a possibility, but
Perhaps.
I think
they would pay him more in
renew.
the WWE. I
Well,
would
yeah.
imagine than
I think
Bellator,
they do his extension, so it means he's got to stay till August, and then I think they'll come back with some kind of contract. I mean,
Roman Reigns.
Brock Lesnar likes money, and WWE's gonna pay him unless they're bold and don't.
Yeah, but so does Ronda Rousey, and she's washed up in UFC, so maybe she should hop over to WWE.
There you go.
They get beat up pretty bad in UFC in those last
Okay, so I think we have some pretty good thoughts there for the Royal Rumble. That's tonight.
Hey, Boulder, what's in your dish tray?
I haven't been playing games. I had a film shoot this weekend, so I instead of playing something, I had a Starship set in my garage that I was making a movie in. So that was cool. Wasn't playing a game.
I'll tell you what's in my disc tray.
What's in your dish tray?
And
Dan?
that's Dan Shevlin making a return to Call of Duty. And may I say, as the Call of Duty master, I will be crowned the champion by the end of the week. No
I
doubt about it.
really like how you say, as the Call of Duty master, waiting for someone to object, and then continuing with the sentence.
I gave him the
Don't look at
ceremony.
me.
Mike,
I was
what's...
objecting with my eyes.
I know. I don't have a good reading skill here. What does it say? Call of Duty champion vacant? Right? Vacant?
Because I haven't been
Who's
playing.
that?
Because I have not been playing, and no one has stepped up to take the belt. This one said he was good. This is we get
I beat him a couple times.
He's off
He
one.
thinks
You're off
he's
one,
the
Cody.
champion. He doesn't acknowledge when
I lay
anyone
the
finishes ahead of
smackdown
him.
in
He
Call
thinks
of
it's an
Duty.
anomaly.
I take
I
no
gave
mercy.
you- I gave
I
you
take people's throats. I don't stop.
You're
and
Mr.
I-
Negative. You're Mr.
That's not
Negative.
true. I gave you credit for the fighting games.
That's not
However,
true at all.
you are one of the worst Call of Duty players I think I've ever seen.
Whoa.
One of the worst.
One could say Call of
Consistently
Duty is
negative.
stupid, but I enjoy
Consistently
it. So. More people think Call of Duty is stupid than think it's cool, so whatever if I'm bad at that game.
All I know is the king is back playing, and I will be back on the throne by the end of the week. I don't even have my type of gun that I like, and I'm still laying the smackdown on
Dan's
Call
like,
of Duty.
Dan's
not
like,
even
why
better
does he have
than
a
Butt.
super gun in World War II? I don't know, because it hasn't existed yet.
And why don't you go back to just playing the campaign? Because that's all you do. Oh, Call
I
of
like
Duty,
to
I can play the
enjoy
campaign.
the
I'm done.
full. I like to enjoy the full game as a whole, and then I go on and destroy people in multiplayer.
No, you don't. Because you get destroyed on
Yeah, I do.
multiplayer. Destroyed. You're
Slightly
almost
possible, but
worse than
might
him
add,
in Call of
everybody-
Duty. Oh, come
everybody-
on,
He's better than you. I saw that.
He's
Tyler's better than
he
you.
is
Anyone
worse
here's better
at
than
shooting
you.
games than I think Mike is.
When me and
They're
Dave played
both
Twitch, he
pretty
was
bad
better
at
They
than
don't
you.
even come close.
Tyler's pretty bad.
Dave is better at Call of Duty than
Pretty
Dave.
bad at sports games too, but that's a different topic. NBA, get those cheeks
Wow.
taken.
Why don't you come get these hands in Mortal Kombat? You're a peasant in Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Are you talking to
is,
me?
I'm talking to the other bald brother.
Mortal
behind
Kombat
you.
is a dead game.
bald
It came out a
bros.
year or two ago. I'm not playing that trash.
Big
Because you're the
bald
worst
Tekken
at it.
brothers.
7 though, any day of the week. Christy Montero / Eddie Gordo. I don't think Christy's in that
That
game.
statement doesn't garner any respect.
What?
You should have just left it at Tekken 7.
I would actually dismantle you in Mortal Kombat.
I
Tom.
don't
It's not
care.
even
That
a
game is
question.
washed up and old. I don't care about that game.
NBA 2K, I destroyed
old.
you in, and then you're like,
Too old.
Game
what
of
do you
Thrones.
mean?
That game is old. I don't care about
Who?
Mortal Kombat X.
Okay,
Don't
I
care
beat you in
about it.
2K.
XL.
You won't beat
I
me in
beat you
2K.
in
Get
2K multiple.
out
I
of
beat
here.
you. I
You beat
destroyed
me
you.
once in
And then-
2K.
And then, no, I beat you at least twice.
Oh,
I remember
twice. Out of what,
two-
like
No.
30 games?
We've never played more than 4
Madden,
times. I
you'll
would
get the
say.
mitts. FIFA, you'll get the mitts. NHL, you'll get the mitts. UFC, you'll get the mitts.
UFC, I would beat you in. I know that for a fact.
All I'm gonna say right now is Tom is single-handedly destroying you and
How are you
you at the
talking
same
a lot?
time, and without any
He's
problem.
talking a
You're
lot.
pretty bad at
Stop
shooting
right now.
games for working at a video game store. Pretty bad at
Tom,
shooting games.
You're
Everyone
talking
says
a
your
lot of
situational
staggering.
awareness is the
Staggering.
worst of anybody. You
I
get
don't
shot
buy
in the
that.
back by Reaper and you're like, I don't even know what's going on.
Kill me. Don't bring Overwatch into this. Don't bring it into this.
This is
Worst
called
mercy I've
stirring the
ever
pot.
seen.
Worst mercy.
Worst
Has the lowest SR
He
out of the
can't
group.
heal
He's
anybody.
throwing around
I
criticism.
beat him with Lucio.
Throwing around
Wow.
criticism.
Wow.
Lowest USSR. I'm talking about Overwatch.
Do you want?
I don't want to get into Overwatch. I'll get heated.
Pal.
We're
Now,
never
I'm going to say all this
Here,
bullshit.
fix it.
I'm going to pretend like I'm actually really good at games, but I'm really not. You're not. You're awful.
Halo champion, sports games champion, any day of the week. Want to play Halo?
Halo's for nerds.
The greatest shooters ever, but I guess they have.
Speaking of Halo,
I'd rather shoot myself than play Halo.
That's for a different day.
all I know
Halo,
is-
Dan's favorite game. That's his only good game that he was ever good at.
Dan,
I played LAN parties. That was so good.
okay, I don't think I've said that.
he destroyed
But
Mike in Halo 1v1.
Let's get back to the point.
That's
You
just
can
a
warm up
big
with
lie.
him in Mortal
Big
Kombat. You know what's going to
Lie.
come at you and you go head to head with me.
Yeah, you're going to catch these
No,
hands,
you're
boy.
not even going to come close, kid.
And you're going to catch the 2 arrows
Not
in
even
your
close.
eyeballs from Kung Fu.
Not even close.
Ask Mike
Ask Mike
knows?
what? Ask Mike what?
that you're awful at it and that I would destroy you and I've beaten you almost every single time.
This just seems to happen already. I already destroyed Jam Dog for the fans to see, so.
And he's pretty crying the blues about
In due
that as
time.
well.
I'm not playing over Xbox Live. I don't trust it. I do not trust it. Especially with Dan's tactics. Classic Dan.
Exactly.
Being classic Dan.
What does
being
that
someone
mean?
else's
What
class.
do you mean?
He always does that. Speaking of how he just said he beat me in
Over to
Halo.
Mike, and then giving the controller to Mike, and then I get the hand from Scorpion. or
He's handed it to
Sub-Zero.
Jeremy to beat Tom. He's
We'll
classic.
get back to you in a second. Are you accusing me of not playing you in Halo?
Yep, and he's accusing you of not playing in Mortal Kombat.
What do you mean? We've never
You're
played.
giving a double.
As a background of this, these two 1v1 in Halo 4, Dan, one of the worst Halo players I've ever seen, beat Mike.
He didn't play. He
20
didn't
kills to 6. 20. That's not close.
We had a
That's
rule
not,
not to use
that's
the
not
saw.
a fluke.
He got
That's
20
not
kills
like a
with
cup.
the saw.
That's not like 20 to 18.
Yeah, what?
It's
Tom,
20 to
he
6.
didn't. He played.
You got destroyed.
He let his brother play. He had 2 people in the game. It wasn't 1v1. There was 4 people in the game. On my radar, it was the worst setup game I've ever seen.
We had
and
it
I
on
was
team.
set up to look like a
20.
fool. And it was
6.
bull. And I will take your cheeks for anybody to see. 1v1. I hope that comes up again because I have been watering at the mouth for your butt
I would
cheeks.
never play Mike again.
Watering at the
That
mouth.
was you got buried that day. Johnny saw it. Kyle
Exactly.
saw it.
They were
There
running
was
around on
so
my
many
radar.
witnesses to that beatdown. You will never live
I'll beat
that
Johnny
down.
1v1. I'll beat Kyle 1v1. If they have anything to say about it.
So,
Mike,
I was
that was
sad.
the greatest promo I've
Worse
ever
than
heard in
Aaron
my life.
Hernandez, and it was a crime. Crime.
you got destroyed. I've never seen Dan land so many VR headshots in my life. It was absurd.
He won't even play Call of Duty because there's no burst gun. He was randomly using a single shot that game. Very suspicious.
I think he was
Very
dropping the
suspicious.
bags at the end, the tea bags at the end. Very absurd.
Wasn't
So,
him. I
welcome
refuse
to what
acknowledge
promises
it.
to be the, until people start playing the games, the saltiest episode of Behind the Counter.
So Dave, so we can finish up what you got for disc tray. Anything?
Do you really want to know what's in my disc tray, or do you just want
Is
to
it
be
gonna
salty?
activate the ball? Is it going to activate the ball reader?
I don't think it will this week because in
We'll
my
be
disc
gentle.
tray is actually a DVD copy of Richard III by William Shakespeare, studying up for my show. That
Okay, just let him explain.
it's way better than when I dropped the other game's name, which
we'll
I'm not
give
going
it
to
one
repeat.
ball and we'll leave it at that. Mike, what are you
one.
playing?
What do you have in your disc tray?
Call of Duty. We were playing that.
Which Call of Duty? There's a lot of them.
WW2. Way better than
WWE.
that at it.
Competing aside, it's been relatively interesting to play the game. It's been actually fun this week, getting back and playing Call of Duty.
It's nice to get the squad back up.
Different game. I'm not going to say it's one of my favorites, but it has a little bit of interesting qualities to it. I'm glad they got rid of all the jumping.
Yeah, that's my favorite part about it.
Tom?
I've been playing Overwatch. I've been feeling the call to Call of Duty though. Like Kylo Ren being torn between the two, but I'll probably stick with Overwatch.
Tyler, what do you got?
I finished Wolfenstein New Order. It was super soaker wet, as Mike would say. And now I'm playing Old Blood, the prequel to New Order.
Well, there you go. It's like we all...
This is all I have to say. a customer said, "Why aren't you playing Fortnite the other day?" And I was like, "Because I don't feel like it." He's like, "Oh, you must be a PUBG guy." I'm like, "I don't have an Xbox." And I said, "You know what? I'm playing Wolfenstein. And if you don't like killing Nazis, then you're not American." And he said, "You know what, sir? You are right." And he walked out of the store.
So not only are you stunning your employees, you're scaring away customers on the other
What kind
side.
of operations going on down there?
I had to let him in on the light that Wolfenstein is a super soaking wet game.
There you go. So from the ends of it, it sounds like we're all pretty busy this week playing some games, and you know,
salty.
we'll see. He's got to finish that. I'm sure we'll be doing a little bit more Call of Duty heading into this week. We're off next week, and we won't be back until February 11th, I think. I think that's the next day, close to it. Any final thoughts before we end this one out?
No, I think we have run straight over all of our topics in time, so
I think we need to take an extra week and calm down after this bloodbath
Dripping
here.
wet at Overwatch. Mercy.
I may have been a little cruel, but you can need some practice.
Let's turn it out, turn it back over. Are we done? Let's give it the calling call.
It was a little early.